Right then guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. So today we're off to Russia as we take on CSKA Moscow. Now this is basically going to be an hour of me absolutely butchering pronunciations. I'm sure we'll all have a laugh at the expense of that throughout the episode. But yes, CSKA have really fallen off their perch. The likes of Zenit St. Petersburg, Lokomotiv Moscow really coming to the fore at the minute. Ruben Kazan in there as well, you know, and CSKA have really fallen down the pecking order. We are going to put a little bit of a spin on today's episode as we're going to go with Eastern Bloc players as well. That is it. I'm not allowed to bring in any players apart from those players from those nationalities, which we'll discuss in detail in the next segment of the video. However, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe as it means a lot as we continue to grow. You know, if you are enjoying the video, it does mean a lot. And it does show me that this is an area that we need to keep going on. And if you are a regular subscriber, thank you very much for your support. It does mean a lot. So let's get in to rebuilding CSKA. So squad dynamics and team cohesion is average, club atmosphere is excellent, and managerial support is good. Top influencers wise, and I've got 5 players as supporters and 17 players that have no real opinion of us. My team leaders are Igor Akinfeev, Zagayev and Mario Fernandez. Akinfeev, he's been there forever, hasn't he? Look, 20 years at the club. Basically ever present, 485 appearances, and that is just in the league as well. And the love of European competition to CSKA. So Mario Fernandez, a player there as well. I think he's Brazilian, isn't he? Yeah, so Brazilian, but he is Russian capped, so we'll keep him with us. He's going to retire apparently as well in 3 seasons. So at the age of 30, he's already made a decision that he's going to retire. So scouting wise then, what nationalities are we looking for when we talk about this Eastern Bloc? Obviously Russian players, Belarusian, Bulgarian, Czech, Hungarian, Latvian, Polish, Ukrainian, Moldovan, Romanian and Slovak. So yeah, we've got plenty of players to choose from, you know. It's not just bound to a couple of countries like Ukraine and Moldova. There's plenty more nations we can get them from. If I was really pushing it, we could get some East Germany players as well, but I don't want to go into that level of detail. So yes, we're just going to go with those nations that I've just gone through. That is set in, so you know, the players that I'm bringing in are only going to be of those nationalities. Squad-wise though, I have got players that are going to need to leave us. So I've got some players that are out away from the club at the minute. Let's get rid of them, and when they return, we'll sort it out from there. But yeah, I've got Bruno Fuchs, Cedric Guga, Christian Bistrovic, Magnussen, Zane Utdinov. There we go. There's the first one that I've proper butchered there. Azuke and Emil Bowen. There we go. get him out the club. We can't use them anyway, so I will look at moving them on for money, which would be ideal. 4.6 million there for Bruno Fuchs potentially. If not, they'll end up in my reserve squad and we'll look at selling them next summer. So finally then, what tactic should I go with? So I'm thinking basically a 4-2-2 diamond. I think that's the way to go. And we look at the squad, just have a quick look at it again. We haven't really got that many wide players. With my only real attack and wide player being Nigerian, so he wouldn't stay with us anyway. So tactically, I'm looking at playing the ball through the middle, playing a counter-attack style. For the moment, we're playing balanced. I will probably go a bit more positive with it, as we are going to be one of the stronger teams in the league. We've got some good pedigree in the squad. We've also got a lot of caps in the squad as well. We've only got 6 players that haven't got an international cap. 1 Russian there, 17-year-old goalkeeper. You're never going to dislodge Akinfeev. But then the rest of the players are players that are going to be leaving us anyway. So we've got a lot of cap players in the squad, a lot of international experience, and that's massive as we try to take them on the next stage. So what we're going to do then is we're going to move forward for this first transfer window. We're going to try and get these non-Eastern Bloc players off the books and bring some more talent in. Right then guys, so we've had the first transfer window down and I've moved the majority of the non-Eastern Bloc players on now. I've got a couple that I've just unregistered from the squad and they'll basically just languish in the first team. I'm not going to move them to reserves. The idea is I've transfer listed them. I've listed them at a very good price for other teams to come in. And hopefully when they've not played in the first 6 months of the season, they'll want to leave in January and the assistant manager can get them moved on. So that is the plan. So when we look at the finances so far, my current transfer budget is just under £2,000. My wage budget is basically bang on. We're just under it, spot on. Profit and loss, we're minus £4,000 for this month, but overall balance is 26 million, and my debt and loans is now 20 million in the red for transfer debt. So leaving the club then, Bruno Fuchs has gone off to Sparta Prague for £2 million after we spent £7 million on him last season, where he only played 1 game, so we've made a £5 million loss on him. Childira as UK has gone off to Stade Reims, and he has gone off for £4 million. After we spent 10.75 million, I mean, he had a pretty decent season last year. 25 games, 5 goals. And I got a bit of grief for letting this guy go because he's got loads of potential, only 23-year-old. And then Gagua has left. He's gone out on loan, actually, to Ufa, so he's staying in the Russian Premier League. But I could not get rid of this guy. I even offered him out for £0, and nobody wanted him. So yeah, he's gone out on loan. Contract expires in a couple of seasons, so hopefully we'll have him offloaded in the next summer transfer window. And then coming in then, the first player that's joined us is the Ukrainian Viktor Kornienko. Now, I've just looked at the squad, and I've not got one Ukrainian by this guy in the squad. I hope that's nothing political there, and I've crossed some boundaries. However, Kornienko joins us. Now, he plays as a left-back, predominantly a wing-back, but we're going to play him a bit deeper as that left-back. Very good player, 22-year-old. I would expect to see him capped over the next couple of seasons. Current ability 3-star, potential ability 4-star. And I brought him in for £5 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. He played 11 times last season, and I think he's a very good player. We'll drop him a bit deeper, like I say. Pace and acceleration, both 15. Crossing and dribbling, 13 and 12. He's a man that I'm going to want pushing forward, and I think he's got that about him. 17 work rate as well. Natural fitness, hopefully he'll rise as it is 12, and stamina 13 as well. But very good player, and worth the £5 million that he spent on him, because he's currently valued at 12.5 million now. For Czech, Pavel Buchta joins us, and he joins us from Victoria Plzeň. Now, he played 26 games last season, 7 goals, 10 the season before and 4 goals. He's got a pretty decent goal-to-game ratio for the first couple of seasons there. Not great last season, however, he plays in an attacking midfielder, going to play behind the striker, dribbling 12, finishing 14, first touch 16. Long shots, probably the bit that I'd want to be higher, is 10. We'll work on that. But very good, and he can play as a central midfielder as well. And we spent £2.8 million on him. I'm really happy with that. When you look at his current ability, it's 4.5 stars, potential ability is 4-star, and he's currently valued up to 5.6 million. And then we brought in another Czech from Slavia Prague, highly regarded Ladislav Krejci. Now, his current ability is 3.5 star. His potential ability is 4-star, similar to Buchta. He can play in central midfield, but I want him to play a little bit deeper as that defensive midfielder, potentially as a half-back, ball winner midfielder, or an anchor, one of those positions. Work rate 17, as I'm wanting him to get about. Natural fitness 12, again, could be a little bit higher, but stamina 16. Now, heading, marking, tackling, also decent as well. Heading 15, marking 14. He's a very good player in that position, and currently valued £5.2 million now after we spent £3.5 million on him. Like I say, from Slavia Prague, he played 20 times and scored 8 goals last season. 8 goals, not bad from that deeper midfield position. So we're introducing you to the team then. We've got Akinfeev in goal. Now obviously a man on the decline, 35-year-old, but he's still my first choice this season. Kornienko, a man we've looked at, and in my central back position, I've got the 32-year-old Russian international Viktor Vasin. Now heading 15, marking 13, tackling 15, acceleration 9. 32-year-old, and his contract expires at the end of the coming season, so he will not be staying with us. But Vasin, one of my centre-back options, beside Diviv. Now he's a 21-year-old, 7 caps already, £8.4 million, and potential ability 5-star. Heading, mark and tackling, all going to rise. Attacking wise, obviously he's got nothing about him, but those defensive attributes, incredible. And then Mario Fernandez out on the right hand side. Not much need to be said about this player. 30-year-old, 32 caps for Russia. Can play higher up, but we're going to play him as that right back. And like I say, he's going to retire in 3 seasons. However, I think he'll be a regular starter in those 3. Kreshki in that holding role with Zagayev in the middle. Very good player again. But we've got quite a few old players. 31-year-old, 59 caps for Russia. Solid central midfielder. Going to play as a ball winner midfielder. And then the attacking playmaker, we've got Akhmetov. Now, we did have an offer come in for him, £2 million. And I said no. He was wanted by Sparta Prague, as you can see there. Not the finished article yet, naturally, but can play beside Zakayev. We've then got Booker behind. Zlobotny as one of my strikers, 30-year-old Russian, 13 caps, 1 goal. Now, my attacking options do worry us, and same with Shalov. I haven't really got an out-and-out striker. Yes, 23-year-old, this guy could improve massively, but finishing 12, composure 11, and balance 11, he's not really going to set the world alight. Last season, he got 7 goals in 27 appearances. His best season was 15 in 30. Hopefully, he can replicate that for us again this season. But yeah, it does worry me. My striking options aren't great. And when we look at my bench, I haven't really got any more players that can play up there. So if anything happens to me strikers, I'm about done. When we look at my development centre then, I've got no players in my under-21 squad that are worth being first team candidates. My under-21 squad though is strong. We've got a very good group of players. And when I have a look, Karpov is one of my better players, centre-back, and he does look good in fairness, 19-year-old. He's been capped twice at under-21 level for Russia. But yeah, a player that we could see moving into the first team next season. Squad dynamics and team cohesion's good, club atmosphere is very good, and Magic support's good. Anybody opposes? I should hope not. No, I've got 8 players as supporters, 13 players that have no real opinion. Haven't got a massive squad, I'm not going to lie. I still need to work on that. However, this season, we just need to get through. If I can get that European football, we're on to a winner. So talking about the European football, and let's have a look at the rules. So a 4th and 5th place is good enough to qualify for the Europa Conference League. That's just what we're after. But when we get down into that 13th place, hopefully we're never anywhere near that. We could end up in a relegation playoff. I'd be out of a job by then anyway, so that's nothing to worry about. But yeah, top 5 positions guarantee European qualification next season. And then looking at the season preview then, so we're expected a 5th place finish with Zenit, Spartak Moscow, Lokomotiv and Krasnodar being the teams above us. Now we have got players in the Media Dream 11, Akinfeev and Mario Fernandez in there, but the predominantly is Zenit St. Petersburg. There's a fair few Brazilians in there as well. Wendell there, Malcolm as well. So obviously Zenit have got a much better team than us. However, I think we've strengthened nicely. We've brought some younger players in. We've got some older players that will be leaving us at the end of the season, and we'll just reinvigorate the side once again. So lastly then, looking at our performance in the league and our history. We last won the Europa League in 2005. The Premier League, the last time we lifted that was in 2016. So we're on a 6-year barren spell. The last time we won the Cup was 2013 and the Super Cup in 2018. So yeah, it's all about this Premier League title. We haven't won it in what's going to be 6 years. We're lovely to do something in Europe since 2005. However, the league title, trying to get Zenit St. Petersburg out the way, is the main one. So what we're going to do then, we're going to move forward through to the end of Season 1, where hopefully, we've got European football, and then we can have a bit of a European journey next season. Right then guys, Season 1 is down. I can see straight away that we have had a 5th place finish. So looking at this league table, and let's have a look. We didn't actually get, is that right? We haven't got European football. That can't be right, surely. There must be a cup going on that could potentially cost us that place at the minute. Spartak Moscow and Zenit St. Petersburg, both apparently at this moment in time, getting the conference places. Well, that's quite nervy, isn't it? Let's be honest. As we've got 59 points on the board, so have Zenit. But yeah, I'm not happy about that if that happens, as we've won 18 games, drawn 5, lost 7, 55 goals scored, 31 conceded, 24 goal difference. But this isn't good. This could be really poor in fairness. As let's have a look at our positions. And we're actually sat in 2nd place, throughout the first half of the season, dropped all the way down into 5th. Went down onto 6th before the final game of the season and just jumped back into 5th on the final game with a 2-0 victory over Kimki. Let's have a look at the competitions then. So like I say, 5th place finish, and then in the cup we were knocked out in the quarter-final by CSKA Moscow. So it's Sovetov against Dynamo Moscow. So we are going to lose our place, as I'm sure these two teams there didn't make it into the top 6. Dynamo Moscow did, so we need them to win. If Kryzla Sovetov, that's how you pronounce it, I'm assuming. If they win, we lose out on that place. So yeah, Dynamo Moscow need to do us a solid there. So finances wise then, we've got £8.3 million in the overall balance. It's not been a great season for us financially, as we started off the season with £30 million, and that's how we've ended it. We've got a transfer budget of £7.2 million for this coming season. However, we're only getting 70% of transfer revenue, and in the season after it could be 40%. Wage budget wise, we've got a 485k wage budget. We're spending 462. Debt and loans, how's it looking? Minus 17 million. Squad dynamics wise then, team cohesion is now very good. Club atmosphere is good and my geo support's very good. Shenikov is unhappy, he wants a new challenge. We can sort that out in the summer. Anybody oppose us? No. 12 player supporters, 9 players have no real opinion of us. So, we're doing alright. We've definitely improved on the start of the season. Player stats wise then, the top goal scorer is Pavel Buka with 14 goals. So the guy that was playing behind my strikers as that attacking midfielder has been my top scorer this season. I did say my attacking options were shocking in fairness. Both my strikers weren't going to get me goals, and 13 goals in the league is the highest amount we scored from one individual this season. Highest average rating then was Ivan Oblakov with a 7.25. Most assist was Oblakov with 10. Most player of the match awards then was Oblakov and Buka with 4 apiece. Most yellow cards was Kreska with 13, and most red cards was Buka with 1. So let's have a look at the team stats then. So team stats wise, we scored 55 goals, which is the 6th best. Goals conceded 31, which is the 7th best. Yellow cards 61, which is the 7th worst. And most red cards 1, which was the 7th best. Average attendance was just under 21,000, which was the 6th best. So that is it then, guys. That's the first season down. I'm just going to skip forward a week to see how Dynamo got on in the Cup and to see if we've got a European journey next season. So there's your answer then, guys. As you can see, Sovetov won 4-1 against Dynamo Moscow, which means we miss out on that European place going into Season 2. So all we've got to play for then is the Premier League and the Kubok Rossi. That's... honestly, cannot believe it. We got a 5th place finish and still managed to miss out. Absolutely raging with that. So yeah, we've missed out with that completely. So what we're going to do then, we're going to move on to Season 2, where it looks like we're just going for those 2 competitions yet again. Right, so Season 2 then, and I'll be honest, in a real world, I'd have probably lost my job after that calamity last season. You know, a 5th place finish was what I expected, but not to get into Europe is an absolute shambles. It really is. So no European football again for Season 2. I'm not oblivious to the fact that Season 1 was a write-off, a failure, whatever you'd like to call it. But this season, you know, it was all about strengthening up top, and I have not been able to do it. I've not been able to bring in a striker, or I've not been able to bring in a better striker to the club. I don't know what it is with the majority of these nations, but the strikers are absolutely awful, and none of them are prolific. So I started going through national teams now. I was like, I'll have a look at the national team strikers, see what the quality is like. So we look at Fedor Smolov, for instance. He's 32-year-old. Yeah, he scored 14 goals last season for Lokomotiv Moscow. It's not exactly setting the world alight. Kornilenko was a player that I tried to bring in. He got 9 goals last season. We couldn't even get him. He wanted to go to Lokomotiv Moscow for 3.3 million. Zuba then, 29 games, 9 goals. And then you go even further afield. You know, then I'm starting to look in Belarus. I'm starting to look at the Czech Republic. And there's just nothing there. Plenty of Brazilian talent about, but naturally, obviously, I've got to keep it within this Eastern Bloc group. So I've not been able to bring anybody in to play up front anyway. That is it. Like, I've just got to go with those options that I've already got. And like, when my attacking midfielder is scoring the most goals to the club, that is a problem. However, I have invested the money. So we've got £3 million left in the bank. We have had some outs in that as well. Wage budget is £500,000. Debt and loan is now minus 16 million in a transfer debt. But again, we've got no net debt anyway. And then we've got 31 million in the overall balance. So looking at the outside, we'll just quickly go through these. Emil Bohinen has gone, so he was obviously Norwegian, so we had to let him go. So we brought him in for 1.3 million. He went out on loan last season to Ludogorets, and they took him for 1.3 million, so easy for us. Christian Bistrovic, Croatian, again, doesn't fit into what we're after. We brought him in for 450k, and he's left for 1.3 million. Gregory Shenikov was the player that wasn't happy and wanted to go on to bigger, better things, so he's gone off to Sparta Prague for £500,000. Haro Borgin Magnusson has gone off to Hamburger, so we brought him for 2.5 million, and he's gone off to Hamburg for 1.4 million. Adolfo Giac, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, was out on loan at Huesca last season. He's scored 13 times for them. He's Argentinian, so when Racing Club back in, we let him go back to his homeland, and he's gone for 3.5 million. Arno Sigurdsson has gone to Anderlecht. So he was out on loan last season at Venezia, and he's gone for £2 million. We spent £3.4 million on him. So we've basically made a loss on everybody I've tried to move on. So coming in then, in at a centre-back and defensive midfielder, I've brought in Ladislav Takacs. Now he joins us from Slavia Prague, 60k, absolute bargain. Played 30 times last season and we brought him in for 60k. Now he was at the end of his contract, so I was able to pick him up for next to nothing. When we look at his attributes, 14, 16, 13 across the board, 16 strength, jump and reach 15 as well. He's solid, he's been capped one time for Czech Republic, he's got a continental reputation. Yes, he's playing to his full potential, which is 3 stars. But a 26-year-old is a very good depth option. Another player coming in from Slavia Prague then was Lucas Mazeput. Now he has joined us for 65k. Another one coming towards the end of his contract. These two that I've just signed were based on a free transfer. I've just had to pay the compensation to get him to the club. Now he can play as a right midfielder. However, I'm going to play him as a right back. 35 caps for Czech Republic with 3 goals. He's 29-year-old. He's a very good player. He's playing to his full potential, 4-star, and he's probably going to be a regular starter. Another player that can play in that defensive mid or central midfield is Daniel Fomin. So a Russian with 7 caps, 25-year-old, currently playing to his full potential at 3.5 stars. We brought him for 3.6 million from Dynamo Moscow, where he played 28 times last season and scored 10 goals. That's a good return. So 3.1 million they paid for him, 3.6 we spent for him. He was transfer listed, he wanted to go. And we've brought him in, very all-rounded player there, and he's currently valued at 5.8 million. Another player through the door then was another defensive option, Valentin Antov. Now he's got 13 caps for Bulgaria already and he's 21-year-old, so I'm really happy with it. He's 6'2", so he's a tall lad. Heading, mark and tackling, 13 and 14. Strength 12 we need to work on. The acceleration at 10 does worry me. Mentally he's much better than he is technically, but for a centre-back, you know, teamwork-wise as well, I wanted to work hard. Work rate 14. We brought him in for 3.2 million from CSKA Sofia. 20 times he played last season in a Serie B when he was out on loan at Monza. 2 goals, 2 player of match performances. And while he may not be a regular starter, he's definitely going to feature. You know, if he's just a squad option or a sub, he's probably not my strongest centre-back at the minute. But like I said, I've invested wisely. I think I'm being able to bring in them strikers that are going to propel us to success. But I'm putting in the foundations now to make sure in a couple of seasons we are dominant. And then the last player through the door then is a superstar in my opinion as far as Russian football goes. Now he hasn't been fully capped internationally. He's a 24-year-old goalkeeper. His name's Alexander Maximenko. Now his attributes there, quality. Really, really good player. Currently valued at 12 million. Almost playing to his full potential, which is 4-star. And we brought him in for 3.4 million for Spartak Moscow, where he played 30 games last season, conceded 26 goals, and kept 11 clean sheets. Now, I've brought this guy in because he's better than Akinfeev. Akinfeev is on his way out when we look at him. This is his last season with us. Yes, his attributes are still there, but 36-year-old. Last season, he played 21 times, conceded 20. So our substitute goalkeeper, who was like an 18-year-old, Toronov, I think he was, he's gone out on loan this season, played half of the games as well. So I needed to bring in a goalkeeper that was going to be first choice, and Maximenko is the man that's going to do that. Now I'd expect to see him, if he features throughout the season, has a really good season for us, I'd expect to see some full caps in there as well. So when we look at the ins and outs all together then, I've sold for a total of 13 million, I've spent 10.25 million, so happy with my business. You know, there's lots of little sales in there, and we have spent big on free players. However, those 2 free transfers to Takas and Mazeput have really helped us out. So looking at the squad dynamics, then team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is very good, and so is my geo support. Akhmetov is not happy, you know, he wanted to go and I'm not letting him go, he can sod off. Predominantly, he does want to play out on the right hand side, however I'm playing him in the centre. And then when we look at the hierarchy, I've got 12 players as supporters, 10 players that have no real opinion, but nobody that opposes. Social groups wise, Maximenko is the only player that doesn't fit into any social group, he has just joined us. I'm sure he'll be in there by the end of the season. So looking at my best 11, and we're still going to persevere with this diamond of the 4-4-2. I think it's definitely the way to go. I like it, and I like the setup. It's quite solid for us, yes. We lost a few games, but it wasn't catastrophic last season. If he'd got into Europe, I'd have said the season was a success. So we're going to persevere with it again. So we've got Maximenko in goal, Konenko, Antov, Diviv and Mazeput at the back, with Krejci in that holding role, Mukin and Fomin in the middle, Buka behind, Zlobotny and Chalov. Those pronunciations, more or less bang on, love that. So yes, that is my starting 11 anyway. We're still playing that fluid counter-attack on a positive mentality. competitions wise, it's the Premier League and the Kubok Rossi. That's it. So we've only got those two competitions to go for again. We'll just have a quick look at the club vision. They're not very happy with the amount of players that I've signed that aren't under 23. I'm not overly bothered about that. Yes, they're disappointed. It's not the end of the world. Everything else were okay. This season, they want us to get into the Europa Conference League again. We should have been there. We should really have been there. And to reach the semi-final of the Cup. And my contract expires at the end of this season, so this could be a catastrophe if we don't get on with it. Looking at the season preview then, we're now expected a 4th place finish. And I've got no players now in the Media Dream 11. So Zenit St. Petersburg still expected to win. Even though they were awful last season, they're still expected a top place finish. Dynamo Moscow down in 6th place. Yeah, and Spartak Moscow in 2nd. So there's an opportunity for us. We're outside. It's 15-2, but we can give it a go. And when we have a quick look at the schedule, we start off with games against Rostov, Sochi, Dynamo Moscow, and whatever that team's called then. What are they called? Like, what's that there? Neftamik. We're going to go with Neftamik. I think I've more or less nailed that. And then Zenit as my first 5 games. That name there, wowzers. What we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 2, where hopefully, you know, that top 4 finish is secured and we're definitely getting European football next season. Right then, guys, so Season 2 is down, and straight off the bat, you can see there, we finished in 2nd place in the league. Look at how tight it is. 3 points behind Dynamo Moscow, Lokomotiv and Spartak Moscow, both behind us by a point, and then Zenit on 65 as well. So there's basically 4 points separating the top 5 teams. You know, that is a real good league, that is. If it is that tight all the time, you know, that is entertaining to say the least. So let's have a look at those league positions. As you can see then, 30 games played, 21 wins, 3 draws, 6 defeats, the big one for us. You know, all the teams around us have lost 3 games and we've lost 6. We scored 74 goals, which looks like it's the highest. We conceded 23. Teams there conceding 18 and 19, wowzers, across 30 games as well. Plus 51 goal difference, which looks like it's the highest anyway. And that form towards the back end of the season, 5 wins in 5. We were just relying on Dynamo Moscow to drop some points, and they didn't. 69 points for them. Looking at our past positions then, we were all over the place. We jumped up to 2nd a couple of times throughout the season before the last couple of games. A 2-0 victory over Arsenal Tula, and the game before against Rubin Kazan 1-0 really propelled us back up the league. I would imagine then, looking at this, that the teams are all over the place, and yes, you can see it there. All over the shop. I know that's not pretty to look at. However, you know, Dynamo Moscow only jumped up into 1st place on match day 27, so that's how tight it was. Lots of changes there. Look at the competitions wise and 2nd place finish, but we did win the Kubok Rossi. Let's have a look. Who did we end up against? Dynamo Moscow in the final. Did they lose out last season as well? They got absolutely smashed last season, obviously, and we've beaten them this season. So 1-0 then. Zablotny with a goal in first half stoppage time. Now, when we look at it, we had 15 shots free on target. They were actually the better side. We only managed 44% possession. We put in some mileage though there. We were on midfield doing over 9 miles. Not a bad performance, I'd say. You know, like I say, we probably FM'd them. However, a 1-0 victory, absolutely massive, and our first bit of silverware, 2nd season in. So what about finances then? Is we have got Champions League football next season. I'm sure that's how it works. We will just confirm that before we move on. But we've got 9.1 million to spend this coming summer. 85% of transfer revenues being made available to us as well. So any sales that we make, we're going to get 85% of it back. We've currently got £500,000 wage budget. We're spending 433k. Overall balance is 13 million. That's usually the case. You know, we dropped as low as 5.56 million going into the summer of last season. So we're doing quite well. We always end up around about 31 million pound. Debt and loans then, we've now got 13 million pound transfer debt. So as we look at it then, we are in the Champions League, but we've got to go through the qualifying stages. So we go into the 3rd qualifying round. You know, even if we drop out there, we'll drop into the Europa League. However, the revenue and the increase in reputation for us will be absolutely massive if we can make it into the group stage of the Champions League. So what's the board thought about all this? And manager performance, I've got a B+. We're on course to work within the wage budget. You know, next season, they just want us to qualify for the Europa Conference League again. And this season, they want us to reach the group stages as a bare minimum in the Champions League. That is massive. The end of next season is to qualify for the Champions League. And then they finally change their expectation. They want us to challenge for the Russian Premier League title. And by the end of the 26-27 season, they want us to win it and just continue winning it. So I like the change in expectation. They've now got a bit of ambition and they're wanting us to go for it. Hopefully, they'll back us financially for that as well. Squad dynamics wise then, across the board, team cohesion, club atmosphere and managerial support is all very good. I've got players that want new deals. That is expected when you get Champions League football. Anybody opposes? No, I've got 15 players and supporters. 5 players that have no real opinion of us. I've got no influential players as it stands. I've got 6 players that don't fit into any group. And what about the social groups then? Maximenko now fits into the secondary social group, and he's the club captain as well. Love that. So looking at the player stats then, I said that my players could not score goals. And as you can see, Fedor Shalov has scored 30 goals this season. 26 goals in the league, 4 in the cup. That is massive for us, that really is. It'd be interesting to see what he's like in the league. So he was the top goal scorer in the league, 7 goals clear of Asmuin, with 19 goals that he scored. So he's, like I say, 7 goals. That is massive. So Balotny's there as well with 14 goals in 4th place. So we've got 40 goals between me 2 strikers, and I said we didn't have goals in us, so that is why we finished in 2nd place. It'd be interesting to see if he does it again. What is his history like? 3 goals the season before for us in 27 games, and 26 this time. I don't know what's changed. Maybe it's the quality of the players behind him, but he's certainly got some goals for us this season. When we look at the highest average rating then, Zabolotny has got a 7.68. Most assists was Fernandez and Obliakov with 9 apiece. Best pass completion was Diviv with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Lobotny with 6. Most yellow cards was Fomin with 12. And we had 1 red card, which was Buka. Team stats wise then, we scored 74 goals, which is the best. We conceded 23, which is the 5th best. That's less than a goal a game, and it's still only the 5th best. Yellow cards we had 61, which is the 7th worst. And red cards we had 1, which is the 4th best. 6th best attendance for us as well. So squad depth wise then, where do I improve? So Shalov up front is the main man. Behind the striker we've got Buka and Fomin, both 3-star players. In the midfield I think we've got a quality midfield partnership, as well as in that defensive mid as well. Out on the left hand side, yeah, you know, and the right hand side really, Mario Fernandez and Kornienko out on that side. Defensively, Diviv, Antonov, Krzyzewski, Taskas, Karpov. We've got players in there, you know. I probably want to bring in another quality centre-back. And in goal, Maximenko. Akinfeev, by the way, is now retiring, but he is going to join us as a goalkeeping coach, under-18 goalkeeping coach. So, yeah, we still have got Akinfeev staying at the club. So that is it then, guys. What we're going to do now is, as always, we're going to move forward through the summer transfer window, and then you'll join me for the start of Season 3. Right, what a transfer window we've had this time round, guys, as we spend some big money now. First of all, looking at his finances, we've still got 2.7 million in the overall transfer budget. Very happy with that. You know, we've had some players leave. We've still got a couple of players that could potentially go as well. Wage budget-wise, we're spending well over it. The budget is 502k, and we're currently spending 535. I'm going to sort that out, obviously. When these players have gone, I'll be able to reduce it a little bit, and then I'll just make the budget adjustment and balance us out that way. Now, overall balance is £24 million. We've made a loss this month of £15 million, and debt and loans is now down to 12 million transfer debt. So we've had one outgoing then, and that's Ilya Skurin. He has gone to Ruben Kazan for 1.1 million. Played 6 times for his last season, scored 1 goal, 1 assist. 23-year-old Belarusian. He's not really that good. He's not bad, don't get me wrong. He's not the worst player that we've got at the club. Up front, though, we've definitely got better options. And then a player that could potentially be leaving us is Ilzat Akhmatov. Now, he has played 26 games last season, 1 goal, 2 assists. We've had an offer come in for him. What's that offer again? For 2.5 million, and I've accepted it, so we'll see what happens with that one. So players in then, we've had in Vasilel Kravets. Now, he has joined us from Leganes, where he played 42 times last season, 3 goals, 4 assists. Now, this guy plays as a left back. I wanted someone to challenge Kornienko, in fairness, and he's got a fellow Ukrainian who's going to do that. Now, he's 25-year-old, currently valued up to £9 million, and his potential ability is 3.5 stars. His current ability is 3-star. But, you know, he's an average player and just a really good squad depth option for us, because obviously we've got to play across the European competitions now. Potentially the Champions League. We haven't got to that 3rd round qualifying stage yet, so it was really good to have the depth in that area. And I want to continue to strengthen at the back, so Denis Vavro is another player that we've brought in, 27-year-old Slovakian, who's got 23 caps and 1 goal. His media description is a powerful centre-back, current ability 3-star, potential ability 3-star, and we paid £2 million for him, and for me, that is a bargain for a player of that calibre. He played 7 times for Lazio in the Serie A last season. But heading, mark and tackling, all very good. Strength good as well, 16. And he likes to mark the opponent tightly. So for me, he's a very good player to come in at centre-back. I then brought in another quality centre-back, the 24-year-old Russian. He's got 5 caps and 1 goal. Roman Yevgenev. Now, current ability is 3.5 star, potential ability 3.5 star, so he's playing to that full potential. His reputation is continental as well. Now, Krasnodar took him for 2.7 million last season, where he played 25 games, 1 goal, and we spent 6.5 million bringing him in. He got 7.23 rating, and it was to get another Russian international in, especially in the centre-back option, and we've got him. And then somehow I've managed to get a wonder kid to the club. So we've brought in the 21-year-old Adam Lozek. Now, he wants to be a winger, but I'm going to play him up front. His pace and acceleration is 16. And that is quick, you know, that's really good. Dribbling and first touch ball 13, finishing 14, composure 14. I'd expect some goals from this guy this season. He played for Sparta Prague last season, 33 appearances, 15 goals, 3 assists. The season before 12 and the season before that 15. £7 million. I'm really happy to get this one over the line. And the big thing about it was we didn't actually have any money in the transfer budget. I went to the board and said, can we get him? We only had about 500k left and they wanted him in that bad that they paid the money themselves. So I've got a very good option up front as well. So squad dynamics wise then, I've got a couple of players that are unhappy. I'm not overly worried about that for the time being. I've got 15 players as supporters, 7 players have no real opinion and no players opposers. When we look at my best 11 then, this is probably how we're going to line up with Maximento in goal, Kornienko, Diviv, Yagzhenev and Mario Fernandez at the back, with Fomin in the holding role, Kreshki and Oblikov in the middle, with Buka behind Shalov and Lozek. So that is a really, really good team. We're going to stick with that diamond for the minute. I have had a look at playing 3 at the back, just solely because we've now got a lot of good centre-back options. But I think for the time being, you know, the diamond got us this far, let's go with it. And those competitions that we're going to be going for then is the Russian Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, the Kubok Rossi, and we lost the Super Cup as well. We'll runner up. As I tried that other formation, it didn't work out for us. There we go, playing the 3 at the back, and we got absolutely smashed 2-0 by Dynamo Moscow. So we've lost our first chance at silverware this season. So looking at the season preview then, we're now up to a second place finish, 7-2 to win the league behind Zenit, who is still up there even though they've done absolutely nothing in the last couple of seasons. I've also now got 2 players in the Media Dream 11, that's Diviv and Mario Fernandez. So I'm really happy with how it's progressing. You know, this season is all about that European journey, getting that financial income and building up that reputation, and then really trying to push on in the league. Because, you know, take that next step now with the team we've got, let's challenge for that league title. Right then guys, so season 3 and we've won the league. You know, 1 point clear of Lokomotiv Moscow, 2 points clear of Zenit St. Petersburg. Now it's tight again, you know. Like I say, 3 points separating us and Zenit. When we look at this league table, let's have a look at it in all its glory. So there you go then, we played 30 games, won 22, drew 6, lost 2, the least defeats in the league, scored 65 goals, conceded 22, goal difference of plus 43 and 72 points on the board. It'd be interesting to see those past positions again, as we were all over the place. We were down in 5th at one place, and it's only towards the back end of the season a 1-0 victory over Dynamo Moscow gets us into top spot, and we carry that on. Lokomotiv Moscow actually jumped up into 2nd, which means Zenit must have had a collapse. They ended up going from 1st to 3rd in the final 3 games. Spartak Moscow, how did they get on? And Dynamo Moscow had an absolute shocker. They were up till top midway through the season and ended up sitting in 5th place for the remainder of it. Competitions wise then, obviously we've won the league, absolutely massive, so we've retained that. Champions League, we were knocked out in the 3rd round, so we didn't actually get past that first stage. We were beaten 3-0 in aggregate by Sporting. We then got into the first knockout round where we were beaten by Atalanta. Was that a shocker? Let's have a look. So we were actually beaten 2-1 on aggregate. They got the away goal. Not that that makes any difference because obviously aggregate doesn't count anymore, but we should have done better at home there. But we did win the Kubok Rossi, a 1-1 penalty win. And we absolutely smashed them, 26 shots, 9 on target. Only 43% possession now. They obviously dominated with the ball but didn't do too much with it. Pavel Buka with a goal on 89 minutes. Let's see this in all its glory as he gets it 1-1 and forces it to penalties. So as we get to see a highlight from the game now, Kornienko with the ball out wide. It's going to be a headed goal, isn't it? As Buka gets there, and what a goal that is. Top corner, bullet header and 1-1. And that gets us the trophy. So that we've retained that. We won that last season, we've won it again. Back-to-back Kubok Rossi trophies. And then obviously the Super Bok Rossi we lost, as we lost that at the start of the season. But yeah, top place finish, so a domestic double this time round. Finances wise, then we've got £17 million in the overall balance. Transfer budget, we've got £6.2 million to spend. We're only getting 70% of that transfer revenue as well. Wage budget £628k and we're spending £553. We're getting around £150k per season increase on wages, which is nice. Debt and loans, then we're now down to £8 million in that transfer debt, but no net debt. What about club vision then? So we failed that task of reaching the group stage of the Champions League. It just did not happen. The money would have been nice as well. But the board are pleased we got a B. We passed everything else. They are pleased with our signed players to sell for profit as well. Check the club culture of play defensively solid football. We've done that this season. We had a fairly decent season for goals conceded. When we look at dynamics, team cohesion is very good, but club atmosphere and managerial support is now excellent. Kravets wants better playing time. I'm assuming he didn't get too much for us. He only made 5 starts, making 14 substitute appearances. And what about our top influencers then? So I've got 4 players that have no real opinion of us and 18 players as supporters. So player stats wise then, Lozek got 30 goals this season. First season when he's got 24 in the league, 30 goals in all competitions. He got 5 in the Kubok Rossi as well, and 1 in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers. How did he get on then in comparison to everybody else in the league? Let's have a look. So we had the top goal scorer in the league again, Lozek getting 24. 17 goals was second best. We finished 7 goals clear of that as well. He also had the highest average rating of 7.36. Shalov got 15 goals, not bad from his striking partner. Best pass completion was Diviv with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Hozlak with 8. Most yellow cards was Antov with 8. And most red cards was Krejci with 2. So looking at the team stats, then we scored 65 goals, which is the second best. Goals conceded 22, which is the best. So we conceded the fewest goals this season. That's just what you want. Yellow cards wise, 36, which is the third best. 2 red cards, and we had the 5th best attendance, just under 22,000. So there you go. What a quality season that is. Let's have a look at the rest of the squad, see how we got on for goals. So Lozek with 30. Buka scored 13. Shalov with 12, with 15 assists for him there. Zabalotny with 11 goals. And then Diviv, my centre-back, with 4. So yes, plenty of goals in us at the minute still again. So that's not a problem. We haven't got too much to spend. Just remind ourselves with the finances, 6.2 million. But if I'm completely honest, I don't think we massively need to strengthen the squad. I think we've got a decent squad. Just have a quick look at the squad depth for where we need to improve. I don't really think there's anywhere. Those wide areas again, probably. Mario Fernandez is about to retire. We knew about that from day one. So that's it. He's done with us. At the age of 33, he will be leaving. Maximenko in goal. So for me, I don't really think we need to do anything. It's just about if that right player pops up. So what we're going to do again is we're going to move forward into the start of Season 4. Well, I reckon this one's going to be a fairly quiet transfer window. Right then guys, so as things stand, we've done absolutely no business. What a season to rebuild, Season 4. But after winning a domestic double, I didn't really want to go out and just unnecessarily spend money. We don't need to chuck money at the squad. I have probably let myself down a little bit that I haven't really added any depth, but nobody's left, so we're just going to play with the same team that we had last season. Finances wise, like I say, £8.2 million. We're now getting 100% of transfer revenue. Wage budget 628k, and we're spending 515k, so we're 110k under that. Debt and loans still continue to reduce, £7.3 million now in the red. But overall, we're in a banging place. Yes, squad depth-wise, we'll just have a quick look at it, because we can't really talk through the transfers because nothing's happened. So squad depth-wise, we're not packed, not at all. When we have a look at it from here, we're still very light at the back. I am worried about this position behind the strikers now, as Buka has picked up an injury and he's out for 2 months. Fomin and Oblikov, the only 2 players that can there. I was expecting to lose Lozek this season. He has got in his contract a minimum release fee clause of 14.75 million. However, nobody's come in and activated that as of yet. He's valued up to that at the minute, so I was expecting him to disappear. A decent start to the season. He scored 6 goals in 5 Champions League qualifiers. He's doing all right there. He's only made 1 start in the Premier League, so no good there. So quickly looking at competitions wise then, to start off the season, we beat Lokomotiv Moscow on penalties in the Superboc Rossi. So looking at it here, we had 13 shots, 5 on target. They had 20 and 9. We only managed 47% of possession as well, but we managed to get the win. Shalov with a goal on 45 minutes to get it to a draw. Takaks missed a penalty, but they have 3 penalties missed, and we end up winning 3-2 on penos. Dynamics wise then, team cohesion is very good, club atmosphere is good, and Maggio support is very good. Kravets still ain't happy. Never mind, pal. But then we look at this. We've got 18 players as supporters, 2 players that have no real opinion. Nobody opposes us, so we're looking good there as well. And when we look at the social group, every player is in the core social group. I've never seen that before. There's always a player that's a bit of an outcast. But there we go, every player in the core social group. So the season has already started. It's now the 29th of August, and the reason I've brought you back is the Champions League draw is about to happen. So winning the league doesn't actually automatically get you in to the Champions League group stage anymore. We've had to go through 3 stages just to get to this position. The other Russian team's performance in the Champions League over the last couple of seasons must have been shambolic, because like I say, there's only one Champions League place now, and when you win the league, you go into the second qualifying round. It's absolutely shocking to say that last season we finished second and got in the third qualifying place. It's not good at all, but as you can see from the league, we've had a decent start. 5 games played, 4 wins, 1 draw, 11 goals scored, 1 conceded, 13 points on the board, and we're 2 points behind Rubin Kazan in first place. But let's just have a look at the season preview and the expectation. We are now expected to win the league, 11-4 odds to win. We have got some players in the Media Dream 11, Antov, Lozek and Shalov, 3 players that hopefully will do business for us this season. But the reason that I've started this league campaign later is so we can have a look at the Champions League group stage draw, which is now as you can see, we're seeded in the 4th pot, which means, you know, we're going to be one of the last teams to come out with all the better teams already being drawn. So let's have a look then. Let's just get ourselves through here till we get to the final pot. Right, so here we go. So in the pot then is Sporting, Wolfsburg, Sparta Prague ourselves, Besiktas, Celtic, Genk and Bate. Right, so here we go. So we are out in Group B, Napoli, Atletico Madrid, Lyon and ourselves. That's not a bad group for us in fairness. As you can see, Celtic in there with Real Madrid, Chelsea, Bate with Inter, Ajax, Benfica. That's also not that bad of a group, I would say. Besiktas going in with Porto and Juve, PSG, Man United, Sporting going in. That's a group of death, Group F. Group G's got Wolfsburg in. And then that final group, Sparta Prague going in with Bayern Munich, Man City and Rangers. So confirmation of that draw then. CSKA Moscow, Atletico Madrid, Napoli and Lyon. I'm absolutely buzzing at the fact that we're going to have some decent revenue coming into the club, and reputation-wise, certainly going to help us attract a higher caliber player in our final season when we get to it. So that's it then, guys. That is the Season 4 transfer window down. Absolutely nothing has happened. When we have a look at the transfer history, 215k's worth of players have left, and nobody worth talking about at all. You know, no first team players have left us. Yes, Islat Akhmetov was a player that wasn't happy last season. He's got 12 caps for Russia. Didn't want to stay with us. He's gone off to Ludogorets on a free transfer. But that is genuinely about it. So there we go then, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 4, where hopefully we've retained that league title and the cup, and we've given a decent account of ourselves in the Champions League. Right guys, so Season 4 is down, and like I said just before the break, it was all about retaining that league title, and we have done it. 2 points clear of Dynamo Moscow. What I will say now is those top 4 teams are really starting to spread out. There's now 7 points between us and 3rd place Zenit, and 12 points between us and 4th place Rubin Kazan. So absolutely smashing it now as far as the league goes. When we have a look at the league table overall, we played 24 games, drew 2, lost 4, 72 goals scored, 25 conceded, a goal difference of plus 74. You know, Dynamo Moscow looking a bit better there when it looks for the goals. So they scored 82 and only conceded 26, plus 56 goal difference for them. And then when we look at the past positions, so we were more or less top all the way through. We almost bottled it there, beaten 2-0 by Zenit St. Petersburg. And we won Dynamo Moscow on the final game of the season 4-1. So they'll have been in top spot. I'd have been devastated if we dropped it on the last game of the season anyway. So we managed to pull it back, beating the team that were in first place. So yeah, a top 2 clash in the table for the final game of the season. Zenit St. Petersburg, they rose up. They've had an absolute shocker throughout this, more or less. And Rubin Kazan fell apart towards the back end of the season. Lokomotiv Moscow were a team that was challenging earlier on in the save. And now they're sat in 6th place. So shambles there. Competitions-wise then, so like I say, 1st place finish in the league. In the Champions League, we were knocked out in the first knockout round by Bayern Munich. How did we get on there? Did we get smashed? So we actually lost 7-5 on aggregate, but we beat them in the away leg 3-2. So there we go, yeah. We were done, but we did get a victory over Bayern. That's a decent result. We were winner of the Kubok Rossi, and we also won that Super Kubok Rossi as well. So we got a domestic treble. So all that is waiting for us now is European silverware. You know, it's a big, big ask. You know, asking for a treble at the start of this save would have been massive as well. But we have gone and done it. So yes, just that European trophy that's eluding us now. But we just need to talk about this because I spoke about like the performance within the league. So when you have a look at that, 2nd, 3rd and 4th place all get a Europa Conference League place. Like, they don't even get a full Europa League place at the minute. And we've got to go in the 2nd qualifying round. That is a shambles for 1st place. Another bit that I did notice that I didn't speak about before we moved on was that good old David Moyes is now the manager of Russia. Can you believe it? What an absolute boy. When we have a look at his milestones, he was actually the manager of Poland before he left them to go to Russia. So absolute scenes there. David Moyes, you'd never have guessed. So looking at finances then, we've got an overall balance of £60 million. That is incredible. We started off with 30 odd million. We've doubled that now. Transfer budget 27 million, and we're getting 100% of transfer revenue as well. That's what Champions League football does for you. If we hadn't have had full Champions League football this season, we'd have been messing about with £10 million again. So there you go. And the wage budget is 628k. Debts and loans, how's that looking? So we're now down to £4 million transfer debt. But yeah, that £27 million, or how much realistically am I going to be able to spend improving the squad? When we have a look at the squad, it's the squad depth that worries me more than anything else. You know, like the ability and potential of the players are quite decent. Yes, we've got some players 2-star now, Yakovlev and Zaboltny, but everybody else is quite decent. It's just adding that depth, especially if you want to go on the European front again this season as well. So dynamics-wise, you can see after our performance in the league and cup competitions and in Europe as well, team cohesion excellent, club atmosphere is also excellent, and that managerial support is very good. Yazhanev, what happened to him? Did he not get too many games? He only got 11 starts. We did spend some decent money on him as well. But 17 starts in all competitions, I'll take that. And then when we look at those top influencers, 16 player supporters, 5 players have no real opinion of us, but we're still doing it. And when we look at the player stats then, top goal scorers, Lozak again with 31. Again, I want to have a look at our performance as far as his performance goes. Sorry, his top goal scorer. So he actually finished in third place. Shalov with 15 goals in fourth. Yakovin with 22. Who's this guy? So 22-year-old, not fully capped by Russia yet. That must be his best season. He scored 17 the season before though. How much is he valued at? 6.8 million to 9.8 million. Scouting's in process as well. Maybe a player that we'll see it as next season. He's a proven goal scorer in the league, so be a decent asset to the squad. But the highest average rating was Shalov with a 7.67. Shalov also had the most assists with 13. Best pass completion was Diviv with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Shalov with 11. Most yellow cards, Mukin with 11. And most red cards was Tasks and Karpov with 1 apiece. Then let's have a look at the team stats. So team stats wise then, goals scored 72, which is the second best. Goals conceded 25, which is the third best. Yellow cards 46, which is the fifth best. And red cards 1, which is the third best. Fifth best average attendance. That would be my one concern for the way we're going, that we haven't got the highest average attendance in the league. So looking at who does have the highest average attendance then, capacity-wise, Zenit St. Petersburg, obviously that'll be the national stadium, I would imagine. 63,000 there. But we're all the way down in 10th, so at least we're managing to fill it. We've got a 30,000 capacity. We're just not getting the fans turning up at the ground at the minute. And we're the only stadium with a grass synthetic mix as far as the surface goes. So there we go then, guys. You know, we've retained that league title. We've won a cup double. We are on it. So it's all about that push in Europe. But again, we're going to start at the early stages in the Champions League. And all about spending that money. Now, what do I spend it on really? Am I going to be able to find a player from the Eastern Bloc that's really going to push that squad onto the next level? So yes, a busy transfer window ahead potentially. Or we may end up doing nothing. Right then guys, so it's our final season in charge of CSKA Moscow, and I've actually spent some money. I think I've improved the squad. I'll let you be the judge of that, but let's have a look at those finances first. As I've still got £18 million in the bank. However, I have got a couple of transfers that I'm still trying to get over the line. I am spending well off my wage budget, as it could be if I get these transfers through, but we'll work on that after the fact. You know, that's later on's problem, that is. We've got £69 million in the overall balance. Debt and loan, we've gone back up to £5 million. I'm not worried about that. Like I say, we started off with £20 million transfer debt, but that net debt has been zero all the way through this save. Looking at the transfers then, one of the major outs was Vasyl Kravets. He has gone off to Dynamo Kiev. Now, solely because these Ukrainian players are counted as foreign players as far as obviously the registration goes, which is expected. Obviously, it's not part of Russia. I just need to get these players off the books as he was taking up a valuable place. And in fairness, we got him on a free transfer and we sold him for 3.8 million, so he's gone back off to Ukraine. He did play 23 times his last season. But again, I've already got Kornienko, who's a Ukrainian as well, who can play on that left-hand side. Maxim Mukin, who was basically an up-and-coming prospect. He's been capped 5 times by Russia, 23-year-old. He played a few times his last season, but then seasons before that, he didn't really do anything. Slavia Prague coming with a 3.1 million offer, and I brought in a better player to replace him, so that 3.1 million definitely helped us out in the transfer market. And then Vadim Karpov. Now, he was one of the youngsters that I promoted from the youth system to the first team. He's not a great player. You know, heading, mark and tackling, okay, that strength for 10 isn't great. Like I say, he played last season for us 20 times. And then Ferava from Hungary coming with a £2 million offer. And for me, that is a no-brainer.
you know, he's not great. Yes, he's got decent determination and his jump and reach, but apart from that, he's 6'3". He's got height on his side, but that is about it. Then coming in first of all, Nail Umravov. Now he joined us from, let's just remember, it's a big transfer from Spartak Moscow, 7.75 million, transfer listed, wanted to move clubs, and he's a quality player who can play defensive mid or centre mid. Composure 17, Determination 16, Teamwork 16, Technique 16, Balance 16. He's got the attributes that you want for both of those positions. Current ability 4-star, potential ability 4-star, 19 caps, 2 goals, 25-year-old as well. And he's got plenty of time to develop even further, and he's currently valued at 17.5 million. I then brought in Maxim Glushenkov. Now, he's joined us basically to play up front. He's not a great player. He can play behind the striker. He's got 7 caps for Russia, 1 goal, 25-year-old again, currently 3-star. So I'm happy with him, don't get me wrong. He was across the door where he played 62 times, scored 18 goals, and we bought him in for 3.7 million. So he's come from the Russian Premier League, and they spent big money on him, 8.5 million. He scored 9 times last season. He is just a depth option up front. However, he can play behind the striker as well. He's not accomplished, but still fairly decent. Another player in then that I got a bit of a baton for was Nikolai Pyarkov. Now, he's playing out on that left-hand side, and he's come in basically as a depth option. Emergency backup's what he's labelled at. Potential and current ability 2-star. He's not great, don't get me wrong. He's not the best, but I can't imagine he's going to play too many games. However, he did play 25 games in the Russian Premier League last season, and we spent 1.4 million on him. Season's gone by, that would have been a hell of a lot of money, but with the money we've had, I thought it's a decent depth option. He'll go out there, he may play 10 games for us, maybe make 10 substitute appearances as well. He'll do a job for us. So yes, Pyarkov joins us for next to nothing. And then I went out and got this youngster, Konstantin Toyavkevin. So he was a player that last season we looked at. He was one of those top scorers. He scored 22 goals last season for Dynamo Moscow. And I said I was going to look at bringing him in. I wanted some fresh blood coming through. And 3.9 million we've brought him in for now. Look at him. 108 appearances for Dynamo. And he scored 59 goals, 10 assists. I'm happy with that. 97 appearances for the first team with 53 goals. Not a bad turnaround. He's not fully capped by Russia yet, but I reckon being in our first team may get him there. We've got a couple more transfers that I'm trying to get over the line then. So basically I've only got one recognised right back, so I'm trying to bring in Alvis Userzems. Now, not a very good player, 31-year-old Latvian. Just another depth option. I'm trying to bring him in for Mlada Boleslav, if that's how you pronounce it. He played 29 games last season in the Czech Republic, and I'm paying next to nothing for him. How much have I offered for him? 575k, so basically just over $500,000. But then I am trying to bring in a Russian international, Alexei Maranchuk. Now, him and his brother plays in centre mid. This guy plays as an attacker midfielder. 29-year-old, 47 caps, 10 goals for Russia. Very good player, continental reputation. He was at Atalanta last season where he played 8 times and scored 3 goals. But I'm happy with him. If I can get him over the line, obviously I'm going to spend some big money on him. £9.75 million for a 29-year-old Russian. However, he's another step up as far as players goes. Buku, who plays up there, is a quality player. But having another good option is what we're all about. Dynamics-wise then, I've still got Yaganeva who isn't happy. Top influencers though, when we look at it, I've got 16 players supporters, 5 players that have no real opinion of us, and no players opposers. Social groups-wise, I've got 2 players that don't fit into any group. And now the secondary group, we've had a bit of a split again, because at one point the core social group was just for every player in the squad, which was fantastic. But yeah, we've had a little bit of a split there. I spoke about the squad depth, so having a look at it now, you know, behind the striker is an area that I'm trying to improve. Striker-wise, I am happy with that. Centre mid, I'm happy. But like I said, I've only got one recognised right back, which is not an ideal place to be. But I'm trying to get somebody else in, and then goalkeeper-wise, I'm happy with that squad. That diamond, we've persevered with it all the way through, and it has done us proud. Back-to-back league titles, a domestic cup double last season, and a decent run in the Champions League as well. You know, just to get out the group stage is fantastic, especially with the teams we were drawn up against. And then to beat Bayern Munich away from home, absolutely massive. So competitions-wise this season, then we've got the Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, which we're going in quite early, the second qualifying round, which I've already complained about, the Kubok Rossi and the Super Bok Rossi as well. So we've got that game against Dynamo Moscow, that's coming up later on. Looking at the season preview for the league, then we're 11-4 to win the league now, and we've got plenty of players in this Media Dream 11. So Antop, Umarov, Lozek and Shalov, 4 players in there. Zenit in second, Dynamo Moscow in third, and Lokomotiv Moscow in fourth, at the top 4 anyway. Key players Hozlek and Shalov are the 2 main players in there, and they're both my striking options. And then looking at our schedule, then we've got this game coming up against Dynamo Moscow in the Superboc Rossi. Then we've got 2 games in the Champions League qualifiers. Rostov, Zenit, Krasnodar, Arsenal, Tula and Spartak Moscow being my first 5 Premier League games. So what we're going to do then, guys, we are going to move forward again. And hopefully, we've returned that league title again. That'll be 3 on the bounce. We've done well in those cup competitions. Ideally, more silverware there. And a really good run in that Champions League again. Right then, guys, so this is it. We are done. It breaks my heart every single time as we come to the end of Season 5. But we've ended on a high. We've ended with a league victory, as you can see there. 2 points clear of Zenit St. Petersburg. 5 points clear of Lokomotiv Moscow up in 3rd place. Dynamo Moscow have had an absolute collapse throughout this you know, they're one of the contenders at the start and a 6th place finish for them this season. When we look at the league table in all its glory, 30 games played, 23 wins, 5 draws, 2 defeats all season, 75 goals scores, 20 goals conceded, not bad, but those teams below us, Zenit St. Petersburg only conceding 13 goals all season, but we finished with a plus 55 goal difference, 74 points on the board. We won 3 of our last 5 games, 2 draws in there, and when we look at those past positions, we were all over the place, wowzers. So what's happened here? We had a 2-1 victory over Spartak Moscow that basically propelled us in the top spot. We had a shocking start to the season though. A 0-0 draw with Zenit. And then we were smashed 4-1 by Krasnodar. And we've had to basically climb our way back up the table. Zenit then in 2nd. They were up there, but then they dropped down into 2nd. Even with a 1-0 victory over Ural. But I would imagine our goal difference what's put us up there. And they just haven't been able to catch us since. Competitions-wise then, obviously we won the league. In the UEFA Champions League, we were knocked out in the group stage. So looking at it then, we finished in 4th place. We still got 5 points on the board, but yeah, we just could not do it. Benfica win the group with Lazio in 2nd. Atletico going into the Europa League places then. But we did win the Superboc Rossi. Big win for us there. A 1-0 victory over Spartak Moscow. And we won the Superboc Rossi as well with a 3-1 victory over Dynamo Moscow. They've had an absolute shocker, Dynamo Moscow. But you'll love to see it beating one of our fierce rivals. Finances wise then, we've ended the campaign with £55 million in the overall balance. What about that debt and loan? We're down to £1 million transfer debt now. 20 million when we first took over. Transfer budget for this coming season is 26 million. We've got 100% of transfer revenue coming in. And our wage budget is 741k. What does the board think about all this? We got an A+. To summarise, the board for you are doing an unbelievable job and you're clearly the right manager for the job. Look at the state of all those past. They're very disappointed though that I haven't signed under the age of 23. I'm not overly bothered about that, if I'm completely honest. Yes, I should really be playing to their philosophy. However, when you look at all those greens there, those passes, and it's an A+, you know, I think I can get away with that. Squad dynamics-wise then, team cohesion is excellent, club atmosphere is good, Maggio support is excellent. I've got players that want to move on. Mazeput wants to return to the Czech Republic. Antov wants a better deal. And Zaboltny, he's actually leaving us on a free transfer. He wanted to start more games. Anybody opposes? Takax, no particular reason as well, we've just seen there. He opposes me. I've got 19 players as supporters. 1 player has no opinion of us, and that's Mazeput because he wants to move on. Social group wise, they're all back in the core social groups. That's good as well. So looking at player stats then, Shalov got 24 goals this season. Highest average rating was Shalov with 7.69. Most assist, Oblakov with 15. Best pass completion was Diviv with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Lozek with 9. Most yellow cards was Antov with 10. And then most red cards was Diviv, Fomin and Antov with 1 apiece. When we look at the team stats then, so let's have a look at that. We scored 75 goals, which is the best. We conceded 20, which is the 4th best. 45 yellow cards, which is the 5th best. 1 red card, which is the best. And an average attendance of 24,000 again. Now, I am interested to see how the rest of the players gone for goals. So, as you can see, Shalov with 24, Lozek with 23, Glishenkov, a player that we brought in, I said was probably going to be a fringe player. Plenty of goals for him, 12 goals and 10 assists this season. 3.7 million, money well spent. Buka with another 6. Umarov, another player that joined us with 5 as well. The young lad that joined us, Ukavin, obviously he scored plenty of goals the season before. We've ruined him a little bit. 3.9 million, he played 9 times and scored 1 goal, a 6.66 rating. So we didn't set the world right. It might be our system, who knows, you know. That diamond, I think, is the biggest success. It's not very often they use a diamond, and it has done us proud here. It really has, you know. We have embraced the diamond, and we have got 3 back-to-back league crowns, a domestic double, 2 trebles, and a cup double as well. So we are absolutely loving this. And when we're talking about loving it, I think it's just worth looking at my milestones then. So looking at the most notable then, I was hired as CSKA manager in 2021. At the end of the 23 season, we won the Kubak Rossi. The 24 season, we won the Premier League, the Kubak Rossi and the Superboc Rossi. 2025, we won the Russian League, the Kubok Rossi and the Superboc Rossi. And then in the 2026 season, we won the league again and the Kubok Rossi. loving that. Plenty of league titles in there. And then looking at the overview then, so we brought in 16 players for a total of 57 million. I sold 38 for 41 million. We did struggle getting the value for the players, and bringing players in was a chore as well, if I'm completely honest. It's obviously we went with the challenge of the Eastern Bloc, and it's been hard work. However, you know, we've stuck true and we got the reward for it. So looking at it then, I spent 1,739 days. Now that's 96% of my time. It's just that mine's just done me proud there, it really has. So that is it then, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one. I hope you have as well. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, we're going to be well over an hour into this video. Hopefully, it's been time well spent you watching it. Like I say, if it has, please like and subscribe, would mean a lot. But thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.